This is from myself and Yvonne, Juan, Esmeralda says, as she holds out a large-looking package.
Oh, thank you so much, Mom. Thank you, Yvonne.
Merry Christmas, Yvonne says.
Merry Christmas. And he will open the box.
You'll open it, and it is a brand spanking, sleek-looking broomstick. This is the Airwave Gold. The Airwave Gold broom, which is pretty pricey. Pretty pricey.
Oh,
Boy.
thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Juan. You're very welcome. We hope that maybe you can give your old broom to Carlos?
Yeah, of course.
Hand-me-downs again, Carlos says.
Oh, you don't like my stuff? Well, sorry.
No. I'll take your broom. I'll take your broom, Carlos says.
Come here. I just love being with family. It's so peaceful.
With that, the front door, you hear the front door open, and you hear a female voice. I'm home, your sister says.
Hello! You came!
Your
over.
sister, Anna Maria, I believe, comes in and with open arms, and she says, "Hi, everybody," she says, and she gives Juan a big hug.
Christmas! Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas. She goes over to Esmeralda. Merry Christmas, Mom. Mwah. Merry Christmas, Yvonne, she says. Mwah, as she gives him a peck on the cheek. Merry Christmas, Anna Maria. How was your trip back from the United States? Oh, it was busy. This time of year, is very, very busy.
And now we're all together now. Yeah, I like this.
I have some gifts to give everyone, she says as she starts pulling out some packages because she was bringing a sack full of gifts. This one is from myself and your Uncle Eduardo.
Oh, how is he? I haven't seen him in a while.
She says he's doing well. Unfortunately, he's got work today, but you probably will see him tomorrow at least.
I really hope so. I miss him a lot. Thank you so much.
You'll open up the package, and it is a broomstick servicing kit to go with your new broom.
Really got in touch for this, right? Thank you so much.
Anything for one of my favorite brothers, she says. So, I heard we're gonna have some sort of party this week.
Yeah.
I don't know, Yvonne says. Don't know how we're going to fit everybody in here. Oh, we'll make room. We'll make room, Anna Maria says.
There's always room.
Meanwhile, back in Russia. So, Roxana, you're hanging out at Toby's house right now. And Tritessa is there as well, because she's also visiting Toby. This is going to be the day after Christmas, because Tritessa, she doesn't have a family to hang out with for Christmas, so she ended up hanging out with Toby's family for Christmas.
Oh, that's nice.
So it was very sweet that Juan decided to invite Tritessa to his Christmas party, because otherwise she'd be spending Christmas with not very many of her loved ones. So,
Arg.
so they just had the funeral, and Toby was saying, so Rox, I was just telling Tritessa, do you know about that ring that I found during the last event of the Zodiac games?
Still have it?
No. So I did some research because I couldn't figure out what it did. So I thought I would try to find an expert, and Naila, her sister, apparently knows somebody who is very well versed in magical items and artifacts. So I was able to get in touch with him, and I was able to show him the ring, which is not a hoop. It's a ring, not a hoop. I showed him the ring, and he said he would try to do some research and figure out what it is and what it does.
Who was this man?
Oh, his name is Mr. Vienno Seppa. Vienno Seppa. He's actually an alumni from Durmstrang. Roll a knowledge history.
Sounds so familiar. I don't know if I'm. Yeah, but I probably am. Oh,
12? I'm going to say you've never heard of him.
never heard of him. Do you know who this person is at all, Toby?
He's a friend of Naila's sister, and I did some research, and he apparently is a wizard who does a lot of studies with both magic items and and muggle technology. Apparently, he tried to show some of his inventions to the Ministry of Magic, but they seem to reject them because some of the Ministry members thought it was an abomination that he was trying to mix magic with Muggle tech.
That's because the ministry is full of a bunch of old men who think they know what's best.
Yeah, I they're a little set in their ways, I admit, but I think that they're trying to look out for the best interests of us.
Well, I know. Sometimes, though, I think people are too set in their ways. It's a modern age. We have to move forward and discover new things. And no, Toby, one day the truth of secrecy will probably not exist one day.
Tritessa looks a little bit bothered by this when you say it. And Toby looks a little slightly uncomfortable about the topic as well. Yeah, that's under a lot of debate recently. It's a very hot topic, it seems like.
Probably going to come up at the ministry. Have you decided if you're both going to go?
I don't
Look,
know.
Toby.
Tritessa says, I definitely am going. I thought, Toby, are you not going to go? I was thinking about it. I definitely want to go because I feel like I've got a lot to say. And this is one of those rare moments when people actually are kind of forced to listen to what I have to say and let me finish what I'm trying to say.
She like clears after it. She's like,
But I don't know. I'm still deciding. Oh, okay, Tritessa says. She's looking a little disappointed at his answer.
well, I mean, if Toby doesn't go, then I won't go. And Tritessa, you don't have to go. I don't.
But this is really important, Tritessa says. This is our chance to talk to world leaders and tell them what we think.
Roxana looks a little bit sketchy. She's like, well, could do something that, like, it's ice skating, who can do the best belly flop, like, we could do.
Tritessa says, well, yes, those things are fun, but this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't know if I can just pass that up. Not very many people have this chance to talk directly to that many ministers of magic and actually have them listen to you. So, Rox, on that note, what you said just got me thinking a little bit. Did you know that our family we own a pensieve in the house?
Do you?
Yes. So, with what happened to my aunt, one of the things that the family does is they bring out the pensieve and they share memories with each other of our loved ones. And so there's one memory that there's a bunch of memories that we've stored over the years from previous families and our ancestors, and there's one specific memory about my grandfather. He was around during the Second World War. I was looking through my his daughter's memories. I was wondering if I could share it with you.
Sana, like the the practices of Toby's family, looks a little bit nervous at this, but be like, sure, I'd be honored to. Like she kind of has a nervous look because she knows Toby's family's Jewish, so
It's it's I know it's not a very lighthearted time, and it's not a particularly lighthearted memory, but I think it's something that I think it's something you should see. Tressa, if you want to see it too, you're welcome as well. Tritessa says, I have to admit, I'm intrigued. I always kind of wondered what it was like back then. Okay. Follow me then. And he'll walk you guys over to the basement. And you've been to Toby's basement many times. But this time around, you can see that they pulled out the pensieve. And on these shelves, you have all these different bottles. And the bottles have like little swirling memory looking things, wisps in them. And they're labeled and they have like different names on them of people in the Petrov family and like ancestry from many, many, many years. And you see Toby goes over and he takes a bottle that looks like it was recently used or handled. The bottle has the name Matilda on it. This is actually my mother's memory, but it's about my grandfather, whose name is also Tobias, who I was named after. So this is Matilda's memory. So he uncorks the bottle, and then he pours the memory into the pensieve. All right, you guys ready?
how exactly do I use this? I've never actually used one before.
Tritessa says, you just submerge your face into the water and you'll start to witness the person's memories. You're not going to be able to interact with anyone. They can't see you. You can't affect anything in the scene. It's just going to play out. But you can wander around and explore up to a certain bit, Tritessa says. So, you guys ready? Tritessa asks.
Yeah.
You go over to the pensieve with the swirling memory in it, and you start to submerge your face into the water. And you suddenly feel your mind being transported. So, you're going to enter into the scene, and you're in a small house, and you can tell right away that you're way back in time. Sometime between World War II. So this is 1939, 1945. And you currently are in Germany right now. Somehow you feel that you know that context, that you're in Germany. And you see in this house, there is an old woman. There is a man who looks a lot like an older version of Tobias. Maybe he looks like me. Maybe he looks like me. An older version of Tobias. You see another woman about the same age, and you see this little girl. And the little girl seems to be like playing with some dolls. And the woman goes over to her and says, Matilda, we're gonna have dinner soon, okay, sweetheart? And Matilda looks up at who you presume to be the mother, and she will nod. And the grandmother will say, dinner's ready. While they're having dinner, they're gonna have some pleasant conversation. And the woman, her name is Zelda, she says, so mother, how long do you think we're going to be staying here? For as long as we need to, child. For as long as we need to. Don't worry. As long as we are in these walls, they can't find us. Well, the Nazis have invaded this area for quite some time, and they're looking for us. They're not going to find us. My charms have carefully shrouded us. Tobias looks very, very uncomfortable. He's kind of like poking at his food a little bit. And the room's going to shift a little bit. It's going to fast forward through time. And again, you're going to see this family in the living room, and they're just kind of doing their thing. When all of a sudden, you hear some shouts happening outside. And at that moment, Zelda goes over to the window and she opens the curtain and she looks and she says, "Something's happening next door." And Tobias runs over and he looks out. It's the neighbors. They're searching the house. And you can see that there are some soldiers with the swastika symbol on them. And they're all around and they seem to be forcing their way into the house. They're looking around. And turns to her daughter, who looks like she's alarmed. And she says, "Matilda, just keep playing, dear. Just keep playing." So she's just going to continue playing with her dolls. And then you suddenly see the soldiers dragging out this family out from the house. And the family is like screaming and seem very, very upset. And they're handling them very forcibly. And they also have who you presume to be the family that was hiding this other family. They're also dragging them out into the streets. And Toby says, "I know them. Zelda, we know them. We went to temple with them about a few years back." And Zelda says, "Oh my God, they've gotten caught. What are they going to do with them?" "It's not our business," the old woman says. "We can't do anything for them." "Why not?" Tobias says. She says, "Tobias, I've told you many, many times, this is a Muggle war, not a wizard war. Let the Muggles deal with their own messes, and let us deal with ours." And he says, "I can't just stay here and watch some of our people being tortured and doing God knows what. We have to. In order for us to be safe, Tobias, we have to. We cannot intervene. None of us are allowed to intervene." And Tobias looks very, very upset by this. The old woman continues, "We were given strict orders. Every single member of the wizarding world was given strict orders by the Ministry of Magic that we cannot intervene into this war." And Tobias says, "I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. I could just go out there and do what? They have guns, Tobias. They would shoot you down if you tried to do something. What would you do to defend yourself? Use magic?" And he says, "What good is magic if we can't use it to protect other people?" And she said, "Number one, the statute of secrecy would be broken. Number two, even if that wasn't even a thing," she says, "what do you think is going to happen once we start taking sides and we start participating? There are wizards and witches who are also sympathizers of Hitler as well. They too will join his side in response. And what do you think is going to happen when we start bringing magic into this war? What do you think will happen then? We're just going to escalate it and the war would be even worse. We would destroy the world as we know it if we got involved into this war as well. That's why we can't interfere. That's why we have to stay within our lane. The wizards and witches have to allow the Muggles to sort out their own problems. And when we are at war amongst ourselves, we do everything in our power to keep the Muggles out of our own affairs. That's how we keep everyone safe." And Tobias, he's just like shaking his head and he's just looking back and forth. And he says, "I'm going to go out there. Tobias, you leave this house and you are going to doom us all. Not only are you going to doom yourself, but you are going to doom your wife and your children as well. They cannot know that we are here. They cannot know that we are here." Talk some sense into your husband, Zelda, she says. And Zelda, she says, Toby, I know what you're thinking, and I hate it as well. I hate watching all our friends taken away, but it's for, we have to look after our family. You know, it's unfortunate what's going on out there, and I hate that we can't do anything to fix it, but it's not our mess to fix. The Muggles started this. This is their war. It's not our responsibility to swoop in and save them from their own mistakes, any more than it is for them to swoop in and to fix our mistakes. It's not going to help anyone if we bring magic into this war. You know that. Toby sulks again, and he's looking at his daughter. And by this point, his daughter is like, she's sort of watching this whole thing, but she doesn't like fully comprehend what's happening. And it looks like he's about to like, he sits down on the couch, and you can hear more of the screaming, and you hear 2 gunshots firing, and that seems to startle the daughter. And after that happens, when they look outside, and as they look outside, Toby jumps out of his chair, opens the front door, and he runs out. And the grandmother says, Tobias! And Zelda yells out, Toby, come back! Come back! And you can see outside that Tobias is confronting the soldiers, and you hear him shout, Expelliarmus! And the guns fly out of their hands, and one of the soldiers turns towards him, and then he goes stupefied, and he stuns another one. He manages to dodge one of the shots that are being fired at him as he dives behind a car, and then one of the family members starts to run, and the Nazi is about to shoot the woman who's running away, and you can hear Tobias yell out, Avada Kedavra! And he kills one of the Nazis, and the Nazis falls over dead, allowing the woman to escape. And it seems like at least the soldiers are at least stunned or incapacitated, and he's going over to the Jewish family, and he's urging them, leave, get out of here, run, and get out of here now. And he's just looking around just to make sure that the coast is clear. And as soon as it looks like the family is gone, he's going to start running back to the house. And as he starts to reach the lawn of the house, you hear another gunshot, and you look on his shirt, there's a big red mark through his chest, which he looks down on, and then he looks up at his wife Zelda through the window, and then he falls over and collapses. And behind him, you see another Nazi soldier had fired at him, and 2 others come over to him and they check the body, and they look him over, and they start talking in German. Do you know German? Can you speak German?
Actually cannot.
So they say something in German, you can't tell and what they're saying, and the 2 soldiers start to drag the guy away, and the one who had fired at Tobias looks towards your direction, and then he says, the 2 soldiers that are starting to drag him away says something to the first guy, and he starts pointing towards the house, and the 2 are looking at him funny, like, what are you talking about? I don't see a house there. The 2 of them don't seem to see the house that you're in. And the third guy looks at it again, looks right at you as if he certainly can see you. And then he turns to the 2 men, says something to them, and the 2 men will drag Tobias's body off. And the guy with the gun, he's going to make his way towards your house. And right when he gets to the door, the old woman herself gets to the door. The door is shut though and locked. And then he starts banging on the door. And then he finally speaks. Tritessa will cast a spell. At that point, she's going to cast a spell so that you can at least translate what is being said in German. And the man says, "I know you're in there." He pounds. "I know you're in there." And at that point, the old woman says, "You know, you're not supposed to be participating in the war. It's not allowed." He then says, "You are the one who attacked us with magic. If the ministry is going to come down on anyone, it's going to be you." And she says, "Yes, we did. And it cost him his life. So I think justice has been served here, as far as you're concerned at least." And he says, "Well, I'm not leaving until you come out of this house." "And you're going to do what? You're going to explain to those two men out there that you happened to notice that there was some magical illusion, that there was a house that somehow you noticed was there when nobody else could? How would you explain that?" He pauses for a moment, and then he says, "You know, I could report you to the Ministry of Magic right now. And I could report you as well." He says, "You used the killing curse on one of my soldiers. And like I said, he already paid for it with his life. Again, you're not supposed to be serving them." He says, "I'm allowed to as long as I don't use magic. Like you have." And he continues and says, All right. I'll leave for now. But you're going to be in big trouble with the ministry." And he's going to turn and start to leave. And as soon as he leaves, the old woman turns back to the group. And by this point, like, Zelda's is in tears. She's crying. She's like calling out Tobias's name. Matilda, she seems very confused. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't realize what just happened to her father. And the old woman says, "We have to leave. We have to leave now before the ministry can find us here." And with that, the memory is over.
Or do I wake up and I kind of switch back? Okay.
Yeah.
Back and I kind of stumble backwards a bit and I just turn and lock eyes with Toby.
He thought he was doing the right thing. He was trying to convince our family and all the other wizards and witches to band together against Hitler and the war, but you have to understand, there are wizards and witches on all sides, on both sides. The moment that they would have joined his side too, and my great-grandmother was right. It would have destroyed the world. The statute of secrecy can't come down. Otherwise, as horrible as the war was, and I know it was horrible what happened to it, I of all people should know how terrible that war was. But Roxy, it could have been so much worse. So much worse. My family learned that the hard way. Tritessa goes up to Toby and kind of like wraps her arm around his shoulder.
Sorry about your grandfather.
We never recovered his body. I'm assuming they took him back to the camps, and I don't know what happened to him. None of us know what happened to him.
probably not going to like that I'm going to say this, but I think he was a hero. I mean, the right thing was him. He's done the same thing. Brave man.
I believe that. It's just complicated. It's not simple. It's not black and white. War is never like that. I know. But our family managed to escape. And we survived when hundreds and thousands didn't. And we were lucky, I guess, because we happened to be in the wizarding world. We had to watch my family had to watch a lot of our friends and family disappear and never hear from them again. And we couldn't do anything about it, even though we wanted to. That was the hardest things. All of us wanted to help. But we knew that doing so would have multiplied the potency of that time tenfold. It's a horrible, horrible memory for our family to bear. But so many other wizards and witches and wizarding families during that time had to go through the exact same thing. War is awful. It puts you in a situation and makes you make terrible decisions that you normally wouldn't be forced to make. But that's the way the world is.
Take his hand and give it a squeeze. Sorry that you will have to pay that price.
I'm sorry that I had you watch that, but it's something about my family that I never told you, and I really wanted you to know, even though it was very painful.
Trusting me.
If you notice, I don't know if anyone caught that, but during that entire spiel, Toby didn't stutter once.
I was going to bring that up in the vlog.
You noticed that?
I was going to bring that up in the vlog and see if that was intentional or if you just, like, the scene meant a lot so you wanted it to be clear.
What is at the ministry, I imagine. I support your decision. I support both of your decisions and your personal beliefs. Just be careful. Know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. And he'll come in and give you a hug.
Hug him back.
It is now a couple days after Christmas. I'm going to say that the Christmas party takes place in December 27th, 2 days after Christmas. So that gives people enough time to like travel to Mexico. And the guests will be coming in one by one. So it's going to be the four of you, plus Naila, Finn, Tritessa. And I'm going to say that I think, as much as I want him to be there, I think Toby feels like he really needs to be with his family right now. So I'm gonna say that Tritessa will have invited Toby, but I think Toby's just gonna say, give his regards to Juan, and like he really needs to be there for his family because they're still feeling the effects of the loss of his aunt. So, but Tritessa will be there. And meanwhile, Esmeralda has been working so hard to make all this food for you, which is why I'm glad that Clef is eating something right now, hopefully. So she's making
Fun is helping. I want to say.
bacalao. Bacalao? Is there a dish called bacalao? How do you pronounce that?
Now, but I don't know what that is. It sounds. I kind of remember hearing about that.
It's a codfish stew.
Oh yeah.
It's a codfish stew. She's got some mole. She's got some buñuelos. Buñuelos. Which is, what is it, Clef?
It's cookie, but it's covered with sugar, and it breaks super easily, and it's super delicious.
Super delicious, crispy cookie.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, super thin, crispy cookie topped with powdered sugar or even a sweet drizzle. And the thing that really permeates, you actually probably smell this in the morning, Juan, when your mother is like slicing up fruits and things, is the ponche navideño? Ponche navideño?
Yeah, that's nice.
It's a spiced Christmas punch made by simmering Mexican fruits with sugarcane and spices until a heavenly aroma permeates the home. So, very, very... I literally just like looked up traditional Christmas Mexican dishes. And this is what I found.
Something I would have added, it's pozole, because that's what I always eat in Christmas.
What is that?
It's like a soup and vegetables, and every meal that's almost only eaten during like a celebration, because it takes a lot of time to make. Start the night before the day you're going to start eating it, so it's really hard.
All right. Okay, so there's a lot of food. Not Clef. Carlos and Skylar are going to put up a piñata in the shape of a star. I think that's a tradition as well. Up by the house. And I'm going to say that earlier on, there are going to be some of the guests are going to start exchanging gifts. So I'm going to say Naila goes up to Juan, and she holds out a box that has holes in it, like holes poked into it. For you, Juan.
Thank you. An animal.
She says, I don't know.
He's gonna open it.
So you're gonna open it, and you're going to see, well, first of all, you're going to see it looks like a fish bowl aquarium looking thing. And inside of the fishbowl aquarium looking thing is an axolotl. A really adorable axolotl. And the fishbowl aquarium thing starts to hover up in the air. And she says, you can enchant it so that it can be tethered on yourself and it'll follow you around, she says, pointing at the aquarium thing.
Yes, I'm so happy right now. Smash, baby!
Do you like it? She says. Wow, Christmas came really early for Clef.
I absolutely loved it! Thank you so much!
Well, I remember that you know, your dad had a axolotl figure that you keep, so I thought, you know, this would be something that would make you think of him.
Thank you. Oh god, now I don't know if my gift is enough. I should probably... Did you give me a lot more time? I could probably get you something better.
Okay. Oh, Juan, Look at all this food that your family is giving us. I think this is more than enough of a Christmas present, to be honest.
Okay, so Juan trouble to get her gift, well, half of her gift, because he went to the Muggle world, the newest, most exciting book about astronomy he could find. But he also has like a little statue that he hand made, Operation Magic, to make it look like the solar system.
Juan, this is incredible. This is so thoughtful, she says.
I'm so glad to like it, but really, give me a little more time. I'll give you something that equals this. I'm gonna name him Ricky.
Oh, that's a cute name. I like that name.
Thank you so much.
I was thinking he looked like a Martin to me, but Ricky's fine too.
I'll have to think about it. Oh god, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad you like him. Actually, out of character, you can decide. Is this a he or a she?
It's a she, but he calls
a she.
me Ricky.
Ricky, okay. That's fine. I work with a woman named Rakina, so that could be short for Rakina. I don't know.
Out of character, I'm so freaking happy.
I almost thought you screamed, Ricky's back, baby! That killed me.
Okay. Well, I guess it's gonna be hard to top that. So, actually, that's what Finn says. Okay. Well, I guess it's gonna be really hard to top that. So, Juan, I have a gift for you too, and he gives you a pretty large package.
Thank you.
It's like long. It's actually it's a long rectangular box, even longer than. Well, no, I would say comparably as long as the broom that you were given.
Try it.
No.
Do you open it?
I'll open it, but I just want to say, out of character, hark. I am very bad at thinking gifts for everyone, and you're giving me this. How am I supposed to reciprocate to the NPCs?
Bye, bro.
They're all very grateful. The NPCs are very easy to please. So, you open it up, and it looks like a staff in the shape of a churro. It's a staff in the shape of a giant churro.
Yes!
Sort of an inside joke. I know that you've been working a lot on wandless magic, but if you don't want to use it for practical reasons, it's decorative too, he says. Maybe you can hang it in your kitchen when you grow up.
So much. This is amazing, actually.
I mean, it's not an animal, but I spent a lot of time on it. My mother and I did.
God, you guys are such good people. God, I have so much time. Okay. I'm gonna make a new gift for everyone, apparently, because everyone knows how to give such good gifts.
I haven't got Levi's yet.
That's true. You haven't got Levi's.
The kitchen, and this is, I said about the pozole earlier because I remember that I told Finn that I would give him to Juan Cooks a plate of pozole only for Finn to try it.
Thanks. This doesn't have any fish in it, right? He says as he was eyeing the bocalao, because that one has fish in it.
No fish, don't worry about it. It's just one of my favorite foods, and I think it would be nice.
Oh, well, if it's one of your favorite foods, I can't wait to try it.
Thank you so much.
He'll take a bite. How would you describe its flavor, Clef?
Best thing in the world.
Okay. It's savory, it's sweet, it's sour, it's spicy. What is it?
It's spicy because usually you have to put a little bit of, chili in it, because if you don't, it's not really a Mexican food. So savory, and with the lemon juice and onion, it's just a mix of lots of different flavors that just make a really unique food. And how to describe it? It's like, yeah, that's the best approximation
Okay.
I can make.
Oh, wow, he says. That's got quite a kick, he says. Oh. Finn says, it's delicious. It's just, whoa, wow. Wow.
You put a little bit too much spice in it.
Spices. I was never really big into spices. Russian, our food's not particularly spicy. But, Juan, this is delicious though. Could I have some milk or something? He says.
Of course, don't worry about it. I'll go get you a glass.
He'll finish up his drink, and the last NPC that's going to give a present at the party, Finn is actually going to approach Albion. So, Al, I know that I already gave you something earlier, but it's Christmas, so I wanted to give you something that I hope is something you appreciate. And he'll hold up a small box, wrapped box.
Al will take the box, and in return, he'll pull out the 2 that are wrapped for Finn and give them to him. And then he will.
2? He says.
Well, one's more practical than the other.
Okay. I guess he'll start by opening his. What does he see?
So the first one, does he open the larger one first?
What do you want him to open first?
It doesn't matter.
He'll
We'll
open
say-
the small one first, or whatever.
One, he opens it up, and there is a small green. It's like probably an emerald jewel, but it's in the shape of a leaf. And Al says so the person that sold me this enchanted it so that when you put the leaf in water, like a compass, but it will point in the direction of whatever it is that you're searching for.
Wow. That... Anything that I'm searching for?
I mean, I didn't test it, but she said the leaf in the water, and it kind of knows whatever your heart's desire or whatever it is that you're seeking in that moment, and can show you the right way to go.
So, if I was trying to seek my fate, would it point me somewhere?
Yes, I mean, it's going to be a physical direction, so I don't know how practical that is, but really neat. And I don't know, you water, and hence my love for herbology, and I thought something that put the 2 together would be kind of fun. Or just not sure.
This is really great, Al. I mean, I have to say, I'm a kind of guy who kind of gets lost sometimes, and maybe I should ask directions more than I should, but it'll be nice to know that there's a part of you that's guiding me somewhere. So thank you.
Thing is a book, and it's just a book that kind of talks about the different trees and woods that can be used to make wands and staffs, since he works with his mom on those. So Al, with his expertise, wanted to share some of the research he had read, just in case that would be useful for Finn as well.
He'll look at it and he'll thumb through it and he says, "This is perfect, Al. Thank you."
Of course. And then Al would open.
You open it up, and very carefully wrapped inside the box is a photograph. And the photograph is a photograph of a young version of Miwa Mermont. She is currently in her final year in Mahotokoro, and she has just won in a Magfu tournament a trophy. The same trophy that your father just gifted to you for Christmas. And you can see very clearly through the photo that her golden robes are glistening as she's getting her trophy.
Out of character question, I assume Al recognizes her, or does he
You will recognize her,
Okay.
especially with the trophy. Definitely, especially with the trophy together, you can put 2 and 2 together very easily.
Oh, I mean, the photograph, because Chessa already gave me the frame and said there was more to come, but how did you photo of my mom?
I did a little bit of research on your mom, and from what I read, she was an incredible orar, and somehow I managed to find out, with the help of Aika, that she was good at Mag Fu. I knew that she attended this school, so I sort of asked Chessa if there was any records or photos or anything of her when she was doing Mag Fu back in Mohotokoro, and after a good bit of searching, we found this. And I thought you would want to have it.
That's perfect. It's kind of ironic. My father, a statue in this very trophy that's in this picture.
Maybe it's fate, he says.
She never told me her robes were gold either. We didn't talk about that.
Do you consider your mom to be someone who would talk about those kind of things? Or do you think she'd be a little more humble about it?
Yeah, she was always humble, and I suppose if I had asked her, she would have told me, but I never thought to ask. I mean, nice memories I can now have.
Maybe she just didn't want to put any pressure on you, make you feel like you had to live up to some ideal. I'd like to believe that maybe she just wanted you to be you and go at your pace, right?
You're right. But thank you, and hug.
He'll hug you tightly.
Al would probably then... He probably had the frame in his bag, so he'd put the picture in the frame.
Yes, and it fits perfectly. All right. You'll see Naila, and she has a plate full of food. Oh, hey, Levi.
Hey, like, what's
Merry
up?
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. I just, we don't get a lot of time to talk. We used to, but not as much anymore. So I was just like wondering, not wondering. I wanted to say thank you for being nice to me when the competition first started.
Oh, of course, she says. You seem like a really cool guy, and yeah, you're really you seem really fun, Levi. I wish that we got a chance to talk more near the end.
Yeah, it would have been nice. I just also I want to thank you for not making me feel super awkward when I said you were the cutest girl in the competition.
Hey, she says, it's all right, it's all good. I was just, I took it as a compliment and, didn't want to be all weird about it or anything.
Well, that's really good. And I know you said that the original bet was kiss somebody or whatever. That's a stupid bet. I don't know who came up with that. But and you said your religion was why you couldn't. And I don't think I ever caught your religion. I don't know.
Oh, Islamic.
Do they celebrate Christmas? Is it ideal for me to give you a gift?
When you say Islamic, Yvonne from the other side of the room, he looks up. And I mean, I'm sure he could tell, but just hearing the words makes him look up. So she says, not traditionally. I wouldn't say that we celebrate Christmas the way most of the rest of the world does. But I definitely agree with the ideals and, the values behind Christmas and, giving to your fellow man and just trying to be a good person in general. It's pretty much what the Islam teachings teach us to do all year round, not just once a year.
You see, I don't know too much about your religion. Actually, in my household, we're not actually very religious at all, so I don't know much about any religion. But I see that, there's a lot of, Christian stuff in this house right now. How does that work with you and Juan? Is that your, religion?
Well, I mean, that's a very good question. I respect all religions, but I also follow mine very deeply and seriously, and if it comes down to determining who I ultimately am with long term, I would like to find somebody ultimately who would be willing to share the same ideals as myself.
Let's go. Oh, wait, 1 second. He runs over and he grabs like a box and he brings it over to you. I actually got you something.
For me?
Yes.
Oh, Levi, you didn't have to do that.
It was no problem at all.
She'll take it and she'll start opening it.
Okay. If you want to roll for her, yeah, 1d6.
1d6. Okay.
Please.
4.
4. All right. She got Levi Star Wars bed sheets. All right.
Wow, Levi, that's something else.
Yeah, I know, it's like really cool. Like I wish I had a pair just like that, and I used to love sleeping in it. And I promise it's super clean, super washed 1,000 times.
So does it actually say Star Wars on it, or does it have?
Yeah, it'll say Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars. Yeah, it's Star Wars.
So, wow, is this a Christian tradition to give presents about wars?
Like I said, I don't really follow religion. That's just I like Star Wars, so like I thought maybe you'd be interested in one day liking Star Wars. I don't know.
You like Star Wars?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I forget. Nobody here knows a Star. I don't know. This has been the second longest running gag of this, other than like a Pokemon. Never mind. But like, yeah, I like Star Wars. It's not a war, really. Well, it's kind of like a war, but it's like Jedi stuff. Cool stuff.
Thank you, Levi. It feels very comfy. I'm sure that every time I use it, I'll think of you.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm sure Juan won't mind that at all. I'm sure that's perfectly okay.
While they're having their pillow talk.
Yes. All right, Naila. I just wanted to say like thank you and everything, and like you've been really cool, and like I'm glad we got to know each other, and like I wish I could have saw more of you, but you know how it is. Whole competition kind of separated us a little.
Yeah, I totally understand that, Levi. Well, hopefully I haven't seen the last of you even in the next semester. Especially, if you're hanging out with Juan more.
I mean, honestly, that's up to him. I'd love to hang out with Juan. I don't know if he likes me too much, though.
And she says, well, I mean, he invited you to his house and meeting his family. His father seems to be lovely, she says, looking towards Yvonne.
Yeah, he seems like a really cool guy.
I only talked with him very briefly. He's not a very big talker, but I'd like to believe that means he's a good listener.
That's usually what it is, because people say that like I'm a really good listener. I don't really talk that much, so like I sit there and I listen. I'll take in everything everybody tells me all the time, and I don't really speak. And I'll just hear what you got to say, and then I'll analyze it, and then I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let me put something out there in the universe, and then she'll talk to me, and then like that's what I do.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Thank you, Levi, and she'll give you a hug.
You'll hug her too.
I'm gonna have like a glass of and be like, hey, Troitessa, hi.
Hey, Juan, this is an awesome party. I'm really digging the food.
Oh yeah, it took us a lot of work to make this much food.
Hopefully you're starting to put that cookbook to good use?
Obviously. I've been using it a lot, actually. I didn't realize how much I cooked and how much it would help to have a recipe book until now.
She'll nod. And I have to say, I'm really jealous that Finn made that staff for you.
Oh yeah, that caught me off guard. Have you seen Ricky? He has, at this point, Ricky is at like of the resting table where there's not any food like that.
She'll smile. Her eyes will immediately like soften when she sees Ricky. She smiles, and then she starts making this gurgling noise, and Ricky seems to perk up. And it looks like they're having some sort of a conversation with the two of them.
Hey, Teresa, I wanted to ask you about that. How can you speak with so many different animals?
She shrugs a little bit. She says, I think part of it's a gift. I don't know, it's just something that I always was able to do since the earliest I was able to remember. I've always been able to somehow have some connection with animals and magical beasts.
And haven't you found like an animal that you couldn't speak to?
She says, well, there are some animals that are a lot shyer, I guess, and harder to crack. Yeah, I've met a few animals that I haven't really been able to completely connect with, but I feel like with time I could. Why do you ask?
Oh, nothing. It's just very interesting. And what did you talk about? Like,
I mean, I sort of just talk about what you normally talk about with other people. Ask them about what they like to do. Ask about their likes, their dislikes, what they like to do for fun. Things like that.
That's I think that every animal that you've talked to does that. Like, you can talk about anything with them.
They are a lot less complicated than people. So, yeah, I guess it's easier for me to talk to them than it is to other people.
But it's just they can understand you and like talk about concepts and things. It means that they are a lot more smarter than we give them credit for, and vegan because of that thought. And I don't want to become vegan. Meat is delicious.
She kind of laughs a little bit and she says, "Yeah, I definitely understand that. And it's definitely a dilemma, 100%. I've been trying to cut back on that kind of stuff myself, so..."
Oh, then I'm not helping today with all this food.
She kind of nods and says, "There's a food chain. I accept it."
Yeah, well, here it goes. I bought you this as a present, and she gives him like it's clearly a book wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for your gift, and I hope you like it.
She unwraps it and she looks at the book. What is the book about?
Again, it's a Muggle book that talks about behavior of Muggle animals and goes more into the specifics about how Muggle animals. It's just a biology book about different kinds of animals, but of the Muggle kind. So, I was just thinking that maybe you were. In this school, we only learn about magical beasts and all of that, and it would be something more about like I've like read a little bit before I bought it about ants. Those things, are we sure they're not magical?
Ants? She asks, chuckling.
Yeah, they're like they can have slaves, they can have wars, they can grow plants and food, animals to eat them. They might be super intelligent. I don't know. We should take a look into that.
She kind of laughs a little bit and says, "Last I checked, I don't think they're magical, but they definitely are incredible creatures that can carry however many times their weight."
10 times their weight, I think.
So I guess you could say that they have super strength to some degree.
Animals with superpowers.
Sure. We'll say that they have superpowers.
I'm just so thankful that you came, and I really like spending time with you and talking with you.
Yeah, you're not so bad yourself, Della de Rivera.
Oh.
Thanks for the gift.
Don't worry about
It's
it.
really sweet. She'll smile and she'll put it away with her rest of her things, and she says, "Oh yeah, and I gotta make sure I thank your mom for all this food. It's great."
Oh yeah. I still have a lot to learn about how to cook with her.
She'll nod.
So I'll bring a really, really, really like big, heavy box to Juan. Set it right there and be like, that one there, pal's kind of heavy. You're gonna want to be careful with it.
Oh, thank you so much. Let's see what it is. He will.
When you open it, you see there's a Muggle TV with a VCR and a few like VHSs, so that you can. He's like, yeah, so that way you can like watch movies at your house. Like I know you're starting to get into them. And there's like, look, there's this one. I like this one a lot. This is Lion King. I really like that one. And then I like this one. He grabs another one. It's like, this is it. This is like a scary one. You're gonna want to be careful with that one though. Like, there's 2 parts. I haven't seen the second part yet. So, but like, there's just a bunch of like movies in here that I think you'd enjoy.
Oh, thank you so much, Levi. Isn't this expensive?
Don't even worry about the cost. Don't worry about the cost.
Thank you so much. Here, let me give you your gift. And he will give you a statue that he also made using his magic.
Nice.
We saw all Star Wars movies together. So in this one, it depicts. Then it's just gonna be Obi-Wan in his old clothes.
Oh.
That's right. We're in the past.
Yeah, we're in
Then
the past.
it's gonna be just missing. Luke. Saber on.
I like it. Thank you so much, and he's gonna hug him. I have a feeling I'm gonna get a lot of Star Wars stuff, and I'm super excited.
Yep, I love Star Wars stuff.
All right, and then I'll go to rocks, and it'll be just a smaller box.
Oh, what's in here? And she'll like tear
You'll
into
like
it.
it. Oh, she'll like it. All right, so you go in there, and it's like a Walkman where you can put like tapes in and listen to music. Because look, you're always like super wound up. I think you need to relax with like some music, and nothing's better than Muggle music. Like, look here, I got you this tape. This is Spice Girls. This one here is Britney Spears. Nah, you're more of a Christina girl. You're more of a Christina girl. All right, this is a Christina tape, and then NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Come on,
Thank you, Snowflake. That's very
just
kind.
play it. Your music is the best.
Thank you so much. Do
No
I get a
problem.
hug?
No problem. Yeah, you get a hug too.
Oh. And she like gives you a big like manly hug and pats you on the back.
All right. And then the last one, I go to Al. Be like, Al, I go lie, you're the hardest one to shop for in my room. You're the hardest one to look for stuff. So I hope you like this. Not 100% sure.
Sure, it's gonna be great, Levi, and he'll start to open it.
All right, so it is like his comic book collection. You got a whole bunch of comic books. I was like, look, you're kind of smart. I thought you'd like to read. These are comic books. There's like Batman, Superman. There's even like this indie one that not a lot of people know about. It's like Hemlock. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's got like these 2 little like plant pets, Tangled and Ramble. And then like they like do all this cool stuff with it. He's a plant guy too. He does stuff with plants. And then like there's this really cool part in the book where like this government is gonna come and take him. And then like you probably want to read that. Okay, yeah, you probably would want to read that.
He's flipping through and he says, "Wow, Levi, this is great. I just finished Toby's book and I need to get back to him, but now I've got something to read next. So thank you." He'll give you a hug.
He'll give you a hug too. And then only with his comic book collection, he has like a tear, like, oh, I love that comic book collection.
Is something in your eye?
No, it's spicy in this hot room. It's like a bunch of spice going on, like my eye.
I have a joint group present. You guys will love this. So, okay, some backstory here. So we Russians have a little folk tale about a witch or a boogeyman and Baba Yaga. And according to legend, Baba Yaga has that represent different times of day that actually protect her cottage. Made these, and she pulls out like these like traditional like Russian ragdolls, basically. Look a bit more like puppets, and they're all brown, and she hands one out to each of you. So we're not going to be able to use our little, because we're not at the games. So this is how we can talk to each other. So unfortunately it doesn't work. We can't all talk to each other at once, but there's code words for each of us. So if you want to talk to Levi, you'll say Solnitse. Puppet that Roxana has will turn white, and so will Levi's. And if you want to talk to Albion, it's Razviget, and the puppet will turn red. If you want to talk to Juan, it's Smikat. Oh my god, I can't read my own writing. Smikatsie, and that turns yellow. And if you want to talk to me, you say Noch.
I'll reach into his bag
All
and
right.
pull out parchment. How do you spell all those? And he's writing them down.
Yeah,
You'll
I
spell
don't know
them.
if I'll be able to talk to any of you guys.
Out of character, Levi represents the day. Albion represents dawn. It's dusk. And Roxana represents night.
Yes. Very cool.
This is so cool.
Hey, this is really cool. Thank you. Once I remember the words, y'all are gonna never stop hearing from me.
Yeah, I have
I
to
think
remember the word.
I'll go ahead and go next. So Al gives Roxana her gift first and says, you know, we probably will never let you forget that first event, how you kind of left us out in the cold, but
Sorry.
he's smiling, so it was a friendly joke. But when you open it, you'll see the picture. The picture is of that like shawl-looking thing. So I couldn't find a picture of exactly what I had in my head, but it's a reversible garment that on one side is very dark and it has like the night sky with all the zodiac signs, and then the other side is a very bright sky with like the zodiac signs on like a bright background. You wear it one way with like the night sky on the outside, and it protects you from the cold. And if you wear it reverse, it protects you from the heat and keeps you cold.
Oh yeah. So cool. Thank you.
For
Albion.
Levi, says, so I was in London and I went to this one place that I was telling the lady there about my friend. He's like one of the strongest, bravest guys I know. And she asked me if he was in Gryffindor, and I didn't know what that was. And she explained that that's like a Hogwarts house. I think it's the same one Harry Potter was in. So she found me this little pink lion, and she said that it represents strength. And I thought that was a good fit for you, Levi. So he'll hand you the gift, and you see the lion inside. And in game, it gives you advantage on one strength roll.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Al. And he'll hug you really tight, like, never let go, Al. Never let go. Sorry, it's
And
another
then-
movie reference. It's like Titanic, you know.
He's actually going to ask, hey, Juan, I need a little help with yours. And he asked you to come outside. He doesn't want to give it to you in front of everyone.
oh, of course, I'll go. And he'll follow
I
you.
think you got him the elephant rocks.
So
No.
once you
Could be
get outside, do this tree totem that you see pictured there. And he says, so this is supposed to, it's kind of like a dream catcher. It's supposed to, if you put it under your pillow while you sleep, it's able to absorb the feelings you have, whether it's, you know, fear or maybe it's anger or suffering, and it's supposed to help you sleep better. So when you wake up, you can kind of leave all those things behind.
Whoa, thank you so much. This will be really useful. But why did he have to come outside?
I don't know. I just, after what you told me after that last event, I didn't know what Yvonne would think, and I just didn't want everyone else to see it or ask questions about why I would give you that.
Thank you so much, Al. This guy I know.
There's no problem. He'll give you a hug.
He will give you a hug too. inside, and I'll be like, okay, then I guess I'm the next one. Al, I know you like to work with your plants and make potions, and you probably already have one, but pair of gloves. Gloves are a mixture of like leaf, that color, and like aqua blue, made of salamander, and they give you protection of against acid and heat. And so yeah, I got you this. While you're brewing potions, so you don't get spilled or anything. And they also are very thick, so that if you ever work some very dangerous plant, they don't bite your hand off.
I will definitely put these to good use in my garden area.
And Ross, seen that knife you carry, that thingy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So I got this. This
She
is
keeps it in
not
her smelly shoe.
But nobody will look there.
this isn't for killing. The curative dagger, and he will take it out. Again, in the handle, there's the marks of the X sign, but like they have like little lights, and you see that 4 zodiac signs are like light up. Zodiac signs are it's Scorpio, Leo, and I'm Gemini, and that's his gift.
This is so. I'm going to stab so many people with you.
So don't. It can, but don't stab people with it. Preferably.
He's definitely going to stab people with that.
Okay, so I go and find Yvonne.
Yeah, Yvonne has kind of just been he's been sulking a little bit. You kind of been gathering that he's not. First of all, he's very uncomfortable having all these people in the house. Second of all, he's uncomfortable having Russians and this Muslim chick and there's all those other people in his house. He's not that great about it. Esmeralda seems to be too busy like socializing and hosting that she doesn't notice that at all. And Carlos and Skylar are just like hanging out and having fun. So, but you'll find Yvonne. He's probably in the corner, eating at the table.
I'll approach him, and she'll greet him in Russian. She'll say, "Privet, Smia."
He says, "I have no idea what you just said. Speak English."
I said hello.
Hello.
I'm gonna need a hand to get it in. You mind giving me a hand?
He looks at you semi-irritatedly, but he'll put down his fork and he will get up them from the table and follow you.
As soon as we're outside, she's gonna say more Russian shit. She's gonna say, "Я тебя вижу."
I told you I have no idea what you're saying.
Oh, it means I see you. Or at least I see what you really are.
Come again.
I wonder, Yvonne, when you hit your children, do you think about the consequences you put on their lives?
His forehead starts to grow beet red, and he starts to raise his voice. You can tell he's trying to hold back, but he's having a really hard time. He starts to raise his voice, and he says, "Excuse me?"
Well, I'm very good friends with Juan. And I saw his arms. So let me get this straight. She's gonna pull out her wand. You lay a hand on your children ever again, I'll fucking kill you.
He looks a little surprised by this angry Russian woman, like threatening him. Roll me Roll me an intimidate, Roxana. Roll me an intimidate.
Uh-oh. Oh boy.
Okay. 9. Do you want to use your courage
I
point?
do.
Okay. So that's a 12, which is pretty good. So that seems to definitely take some effect to Yvonne. He holds his ground, but it definitely seems to surprise him. And he says, I opened up my house to you, and you dare to speak to me this way? I give you food.
Your
and I
wife
welcome
gave
you
me
here.
food. Not you, you piece of shit.
He immediately pulls out his wand as well.
This is what I knew was gonna happen.
He says, now you listen to me, little girl. I don't know how your parents raised you, but in my house, everyone under my roof treats their elders with respect.
Under my roof, you know what we do to the people who hurt the ones we love? Do you know who my father is?
He says, I don't give an explicative
Yeah.
explicative who your father is, little girl.
My father was a Death Eater. And I don't even think he wanted to be one. But you know what's crazy? What's really crazy? Everything I do, me pointing this wand at you out now, I do this for love. And Yvonne, whoo, that makes me a lot more dangerous than him.
You're a filthy Death Eater, he says.
No, my dad was.
The apple doesn't fall that far from the tree, he says. And he will actually cast a spell on you.
Oh.
Unless you die.
I told you.
So-
We should not have let her do this, guys. I don't know why we thought this was gonna go smooth.
You are going down, boy. I would like to use my quick draw.
Yeah, you can use your quick draw. He is going to cast a spell at you. And we're gonna end the session there.
No! I told you guys we can't let her go out there.
Oh, snap. Oh, yeah, that's right. She's pulling the weave.
Oh.
She's pulling off the weave. It's
Oh,
on now.
God.
The gloves are coming off.
Jill,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys. You going down, boy.
So we're gonna see how this goes.
I cannot
maybe
wait.
Roxanne, maybe we're gonna spend the next session in Azkaban. We'll see.
Ooh.
this is not gonna be great.
All right.
Selfies with her father.
It's alright. Dad'll look after me in prison.